Okay, guys, so here's the deal. I want to get down to the very, very basics. So what are the very, very basics of this business? Obviously, the one thing that we get paid for doing is for selling solar, right? There's a lot of new people and a lot of existing people that they're wondering, hey, what do I got to do to sell more solar? I'm going to give you, I wrote down here about 8 different ways to generate leads, and I'm going to give you guys some ideas. I want you guys to think about. Now, here's the deal. Before we get into that, I want you guys to know, this doesn't mean that I'm telling you to do every single one of these things, okay? There's not enough time. They say that, you don't want to be the jack of all trades and the master of none. The key is to master a few of them, right? And generate more leads, right? So the first one and most obvious that some people want to do and some people don't want to do, and whether you want to do this or you don't want to do this, it's all good because there's other ways to generate business. But the first one is, what do you guys think the first most obvious one to get some leads from?
Friends and family.
Friends and family, that's right. So friends and family, right? That's one of them. That's why I stress on this a lot. Now, one thing you guys will hear in a training, and how many of you guys eventually want to train people? By show of hands, okay? Okay, great. Because there's different types of learning. There's learn knowledge, there's activity knowledge, modeling knowledge, and teaching knowledge. There's learn knowledge. Right now, you're experiencing learn knowledge, right? You're out here listening to somebody train, and you're taking down notes, and you're learning, right? I'm going to train for about 40 minutes a day. If you get 5 minutes worth, 3 minutes worth, 2 minutes worth, whatever, of something good that I said in that 2 to 5 minute gap, or whatever time it is worth it. Because it could be one idea that helps you close a deal. You might say, well, in a 5-minute segment that JC taught, I made $7,000, $6,000, $5,000. Those 5 minutes were worth to me $5,000 on that one transaction. What if you keep doing it over and over? I'm going to share with you guys some stuff right now that is very, very basic. I don't have a PowerPoint for you today. We're just going to shoot the shit. We're going to talk. Okay, we're going to get down to business. So the first, you guys notice that I often say the very first thing, which, by the way, if you're not registered to the academy yet, how many of you guys, by a show of hands, have already registered to our training academy that we just created? It's free. Okay, awesome. What about you guys? I want to see here. I'm looking at you guys on the chat. Okay, good. I like it, Ramsey. So for those of you guys that don't know, I'm going to tell you. SolarHeroesTraining.com. Heroes is Heros. Sometimes people spell it with an E. I don't spell it with an E. It's no E. SolarHeroesTraining.com. Register for free. Okay. There's a video. I'll make sure that we put it on the Power Hitters group that navigates you through it. There's modules, the basic training, how to enter a lead, how to make your list, how to contact your list, how to get, et cetera, et cetera. SolarHeroesTraining.com is a free system and it's all modules, right? I pay somebody to get that done for me, not a whole lot of money, and I pay a monthly fee to get it hosted. But why do we do that? Because we want to give you guys, and we're going to always, guess what? The list of most of our mentors is on there. This week, we're going to add like 4 more mentors that we have. For example, Barry Hassan just got to mentor last week. Okay, let's give him a virtual round of applause, right? He's going to get put on there. United States Marine veteran. Who do you know that's a veteran? That's a great guy to put him on. This guy is a man. Who do you know that has a passion for lifting weights? This guy's more stacked than, I don't know. He's got more definitions than a dictionary. All right. This dude is jacked. So anyways, the point is, and then, we got a ton of mentors that are amazing. So anyways, in the basic training, I tell people what you want to do is you want to make your list of everybody, contact them. I give you the list. That training is in the academy, by the way. So the very first one is call everybody. Make sure you're not a secret agent. Remember, what is the goal? You guys hear me say it all the time. I want you guys to put it in the chat. Somebody remember, let me see if you guys remember. How many people should know, beyond the shadow of a doubt, that you're a solar professional? What is that number? 200.
200.
200. How many of us, send my wife a message. Louis, please tell her that I'm doing a training and it's on my phone. How many of us believe without a shadow of a doubt that 200 people know for a fact that we're in the solar business? Raise your hand in this room or on the chat. Okay, V says yes. Okay, good. Pete says yes. So does Anthony. The majority of people cannot honestly answer yes. 200 people know that I'm a solar pro. So that's what I recommend that you do. You get there. The next one is door knocking. Okay, you don't have to do no door knocking, but that's an option. Now let me give you another option. First, before I give you that option, here's what I want you to think about. This is your solar business, not your solar job. I want you guys to make a note of that. This is my solar business. This is not my solar job. If the Powur opportunity existed where it costs you $50,000 to open up your Powur franchise, and it gave you the same pay, the same identical opportunity, but you put 50 G's to do it. You took a loan out, you took your savings, whatever the case is, and you put 50,000. I guarantee you 200 people would know that you were in the business. I guarantee you'd be prospecting a lot more than you are. It's all perspective. It's perspective, because let me put things into perspective a little bit more. Subway, who's familiar with Subway? Okay. Subway costs an average of about $300,000 last time I checked to open up a franchise. Subway franchise. They give you the name, they give you the system, they give you where to buy the stuff, boom, boom, boom. You know what the average owner of a Subway makes? $40,000 to $50,000 a year. But they put up 300,000, 300 G's, and they're making 40, 50 G's a year. And don't think that they're doing it without doing anything, especially in the beginning years. They're involved. They're hiring people. They're firing people, right? And they're putting in real work. We're talking about 10, 12-hour days, man. Perspective. Then you got people here that come in here. You can make 40 grand in a month, your second or third month, even your first month, but that's not very likely. But let's say somebody that's got some experience or somebody that wants to come in here guns blazing and has a little bit of sales experience, they can go make 30, 40 grand their second, third month. Absolutely they can. It's perspective. So anyways, so let's see, for example, door to door. Let's say you don't want to do door to door sales. You don't want to go door to door because it's your business. Do people put money back into their business? Yes. That's called treating your business like a business. Sometimes people make, even if it's a $2,000 commission, let's say it's a small system split sale, 2 G's. They put 2 G's in their pocket. They didn't even invest $100 into their business, which would be 5%. I recommend you invest 10% back into your business. We're talking business here. You're not a solar sales guy. See, go work for a traditional company. You're a solar salesperson. There's no light at the end of the tunnel. Go knock on doors, D to D until you're DEAD. That's a traditional model. Here, you have your own solar business. So what I would recommend is whatever you make, allocate 10% that invested back in your business. So let's say you went out there and you invested into some flyers. You got 10,000 flyers. But if you really want to take it seriously with those flyers, it's going to take a lot more than 10,000. So let me put things, let me show you some numbers. Let's say you're passing out 500 flyers a day. Here's how I look at it. If this was what I was going to do, here's what I would look at. Walking around my neighborhood or a certain neighborhood, passing out flyers is good for my health. Can we agree? Walking is good for your health. Can we agree that the sun, vitamin C is good for you? Vitamin D is good for you. Yes. Getting some fresh air. Most people, especially during the pandemic, were cooped up in their house or in an office, recycled air. I am a firm believer of being out and about. My son knows, let's go outside. We haven't played today outside, Daddy. Let's go get some fresh air and let's get some sun. The point is, let's say we go out there and we pass out 500 flyers a day. 500 a day. Now, that's real work. But let's say you don't want to talk to people. You don't want to knock on the door. You just want to leave a flyer on there. That's a lot easier. And this is a great introduction to door knocking. So let's say you do 500 flyers a day. 5 days a week is 2,500 flyers. Let's say, what is 1% of 2,500? 25, right? Let's say 1% contact you, send you a text saying, hey, I got your flyer. That's 25 leads. What if out of those 25 leads, you close 10% of those 25 leads. That's 2.5 deals. Would that be okay? Now, when you're passing out flyers, now I'm not telling you that this was going to happen. It may happen better, it may happen worse. Maybe it's not 2,500 flyers for that to happen. Maybe it's 10,000. But what if you pass out 10,000 in 2 weeks or in a month and you get 1 or 2 deals out of it by passing out flyers a couple hours a day, 3-4 hours a day? Would that be okay? I got a friend of mine who's a real estate agent. He says, JC, I pass out 5,000 flyers per day. I never door knocked. I just go and when I do that, now he doesn't do that every day. He does that a couple times a week. He says, when I do that, it's a whole day thing. But that's what I do. He says, eventually, well, that's what he did. He says, eventually I hired somebody to do it for me. Because I had leads that I was helping and showing them properties. I couldn't do that no more, but I hired somebody, paid them an hourly, and passed out the same amount of flyers. And I knew how many, they're really passed out, I knew about what the numbers would be, right? He built his real estate business strictly on that. You guys know I have a podcast. I have a real estate agent, real estate broker, multi-millionaire, lives in Downey, has a $3 million house here in Downey. Matter of fact, he lives like a block away from my house. I was walking one day, right? Matter of fact, during the pandemic, I was walking and I walked by his house. He was building a brand new 2-story house, beautiful house. You know who I'm talking about? Eloy? Yeah. So his name is Eloy Villamil. He's the owner of 2 RE/MAX offices. We happen to be in a RE/MAX office. The owner of this RE/MAX office knows him. So he owns 2 RE/MAX offices. I interviewed him on my podcast. He started with Primerica. And I asked him, I said, what did you learn from Primerica? He says, I learned to prospect. We were out there prospecting because Primerica is all about recruiting people, just recruiting people. And then you sell to the people you recruit, right? You sell the life insurance policy to them. I said, how was the transition going from that to real estate? He says, it was a little bit different, but I said, I was already used to being out in the streets talking to people for Primerica. So what I did is I ordered a ton of business cards, like thousands and thousands. I said, I'm going to pass out 100 business cards a day. Not flyers, business cards. He said, I would not get home until 100 business cards were passed out for the day. I would take exactly 100. I have stacks of hundreds. And I would leave the house, go wash my car, go knock on doors, go to business centers, go to Walmart. He says, whatever I had to do, 100 people were getting my card. And I was introducing myself to them, right? And sometimes he says, it's a fast transaction. Hey, by the way, just want to hand you my card. You go, I'm a real estate agent. My name's Eloy, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes he'd hand it out and he'd strike a conversation or something, right? The point is, he says, that's how I built my real estate business. 100 business cards a day. He says, if I did that today, it'd still work. Because you cannot talk to 100 people per day or hand out 100 business cards a day and not get somebody that's going to buy it. There's a couple of gentlemen here and people here and gentlemen on here. Has anybody ever, this is going to be a weird question. Has anybody ever been hit in the groin? Yeah, it hurts a lot, right? I guarantee you, if you walk around the beach and you ask 1,000 men if they like a kick in the groin, somebody's going to bite. Some weird guy's going to say, yeah, I like a kick in the groin. The point is that you can't continuously do something and not stumble across the. Now, here's the thing. My buddy that passes out 5,000 flyers a day, and by the way, it might be 5,000 a week, so I don't want to over-exaggerate. I'm pretty sure he said 5,000 a day, but as I'm thinking about, like, shit, how many hours are you going out there to pass out 500? Let's say it's 5,000 a week, though. There's definitely 5,000 a week, if not a day. And he sells a lot of real estate, by the way. He's a friend of mine on Facebook. We went to high school together, as a matter of fact. Real estate has a lot more competition than solar. You guys know that, right? For one solar person, there's about 50 realtors or more. Everybody knows a real estate professional, or 3 or 10. Hardly anybody knows one solar person. Number 2, there's a lot more customers out there for us than there are for them. So they've got more competition, less customers. We got significantly less competition and a lot more customers. They're looking for people that want to buy and sell. We're looking for people that have an electric bill over $90. Does that make sense? If you take a realtor that is going for it and you put him into solar and he takes that same energy into solar, he'll triple his income easy. Easy. You know why? Because if he keeps doing what he was doing, what he has to do to be successful in real estate, and he does it here, he would crush it. That's how I got to mentor in 11 weeks. Because I used to be a realtor back in the days. I said, hey, man, there's no way. I said, I don't know the script. I created my own new homeowner script that I shared with you guys, right? That's going to get added to the academy this week, by the way. The training on new homeowner list that I did in Florida, that was going to be in the academy later this week, okay? And I show you everything that I did to get to mentor in 11 weeks. And I had no solar experience. I do have a lot of sales experience, but no solar experience. But the point is, let's say you're just passing out flyers. You don't want a door knock, you pass out flyers. How many people can pass out flyers? Anybody can. Shit, if you want to be fast, get yourself a little electric scooter. You know, you go from one house to the next fast, right? You'll literally double those. No, listen, there's door knockers. You guys know that there's door knockers that have electric scooters. There's door knockers that door knock with electric scooters. No bullshit. They go, because think about it. You're going to go from one house to the next. What's that going to take you? At least a minute. You cut that to half a minute. You're doing double the numbers. You guys should watch, if you haven't yet, or if you have watch it again. The Pursuit of Happiness. Look at the hustle of Will. That's a true story. Chris Gardner's story. He had to pick up his son. He was dead broke. He says, everybody else had 8 hours to do what I had to do in 5. So what did I do? They would hang up the phone and they'd get the call. Then they'd pick up the phone again. He says, I calculated. If I don't hang up the phone, if I just click it and then start dialing, I save myself this amount of time. They got up an average of 1 time an hour, or whatever it was, to get some water. I didn't do it. I had the water in my desk. And this allowed me to get an extra X amount of hours. The point is being efficient with the same time. Because guess what? The brokest person in the world and the billionaires of the world all have 24 hours in a day. Now, granted, people have different responsibilities. I get it. I got to pick up my son at 2:45 and I got to take him to school. I mean, to jujitsu, which, by the way, is more important to me than school. Just kidding. The only reason why it's not more important is because it's a Christian school. They teach them about God and about the Bible. That's the reason why it's more important, right? But if not, I tell them, it's funny. I have this argument with my wife. I tell my son, make sure you do your 30 kicks for the day before you do your homework. 30 kicks is more important than your homework. Of course, I say kind of jokingly, but kind of not, right? So my wife's like, no, your homework is more important than your kicks. And I'm like, hey, man, that homework's not going to make him the world champion of the world. 2034, UFC middleweight champion of the world, right? You know, I like to have fun. But here's the point. If you don't want a door knock, you can pass out flyers. Invest money into your business. Here's what's happening when you pass out flyers. You're going to run into some people that are outside, and you're going to be able to strike a conversation with them. Hey, by the way, let's say you meet me, and I'm watering my grass, right? And let's say, well, not everybody waters the grass, right? Because they have sprinklers. But let's say, for example, I was watering my grass. And you give me a flyer. Oh, thanks, man. You do solar? You're not just going to say, see you later, I just handed you a flyer. No, you're going to stop and talk to them and say, yeah, we're in the solar business. Why? Have you ever considered solar? Because the conversation is going to lead there. Now, after you do that for a certain amount of time, guess what? You're probably going to get some leads, probably going to make some money, probably going to build some confidence, right? But if door knocking is not something you want to do, you're not going to do it. Guess what? You can pass off flyers. The next one, new homeowner list. We talked about this a lot of times. That's what I did. I visit new homeowners. There's a training on how to do it. I'm not going to get into that. The next one is this. Now we're getting into some creative things. The ones that I mentioned right now are very inexpensive. Door knocking, passing out flyers. Flyers don't cost a lot of money. Business cards don't cost a lot of money. Your polo shirt, I recommend you have a Powur polo shirt. Doesn't cost a lot of money. The next one costs some money. Getting a booth. Where could you get a booth? You get a booth at a mall. For example, I'm going to be looking today. My wife, years ago, used to get a booth at the Rosemead Mall for ADT security. And let me tell you something. She used to close business. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Now, what people could do is they could get a booth together. Let's say Pete and I get a booth. Yo, Pete, and you could work the booth together the same days. Hey, Pete, I can't make it Sunday, man, so it's all you Sunday. Pete might say, hey, I'm going to hit up Lewis, see if he wants to pitch in and come in on Sunday. But the point is, my wife used to be at a booth. I remember. And guess what? One weekend, she closed 7 alarm deals. She made like $600-700 on each one. Is that pretty good? Now, the booth cost her like $500-600 for the weekend. Shit, one deal covers it. Everything else after that is gravy. Does that make sense, guys? But here's the thing, though. People will make money with this business, even if before you make money. If you could, some people could afford it. Some people, there's people that come to me, JC, I got some money. How can I wisely invest this money to start building my solar business? Because some people join the business and they look at it like a business, and some people join the business and they look at it like just a transactional job. I'm telling you, man, when I got started with this, I said from the beginning, I'm a solar broker. I have a solar brokerage with Powur Energy. I wasn't a solar sales guy. I wasn't a consultant. You could be a consultant. I'm a solar broker. From the beginning, I said, I'm the number one mentor in this company, man. Nobody sees it yet. Nobody knows it. The numbers don't reflect it yet, but they will one day. And they did one day, right? So, for example, at the mall, farmers markets. I know a mentor in Powur, Northern California. He gives booths, farmers markets. He says, bro, farmers markets, people pay more money for their groceries at farmers markets because it's organic stuff, right? It's, it's a little bit pricier. For example, there's a farmers market in Long Beach. I love going there. I don't go there that often, but I go there because they sell great meat. They sell like elk meat, bison meat, chicken, beef, all organic, grass-fed, free-range animals, right? No, what is the stuff that they put into? No preservatives. Guess what? That meat is a lot more expensive than what it would cost at a grocery store. So he tells me, people that tend to have more money go to farmers markets. And guess what? A lot of people go to farmers markets. He says, so some farmers markets only allow it to be like food and stuff like that, not services, and some allow you to have services. He says, I already have my routine. I go from this farmer market to that, because some are during the week, some are in the weekends. But guess what? Farmers market is a great place to go. Now, not only that, though, if you're a regular there, like, for example, I buy my orange juice from a farmer's market in Downey. That's the only place we buy orange juice from. We see them squeeze the oranges in the machine that goes into that thing, that gallon that we buy. And we buy like 2-3 gallons every week. A gallon is, how much? Am I saying, is a gallon? Gallon's not the big ass one, is it? No, oh, it's a little one. Yeah. Okay, got it. So we buy, those, right? So farmers markets, malls, home improvement shows. You could Google home improvement shows near your area. And you got the window guys there. You got the roofers there. You could be the solar guy there. And you could split the cost. Matter of fact, Lily, who's on the team, Lily and I used to work together with another company, which I still have the services, and I'm going to start offering them soon. These services are, this software was created by a mortgage broker like 15 years ago. Pete, matter of fact, worked with me in that too. It's the software that helps a homeowner pay off their mortgage in a third of the time without sending additional money. Not only their mortgage, literally a 30-year mortgage in like 12 years, sometimes 10. But it's not only the mortgage, it's all of their debt. Because what it does is some I'll just give you a brief rundown. Some debts have a higher interest than others. So what it does is an algorithm that'll tell you, hey, let's say you have you have to have a discretionary income. So let's say you have a $200 discretionary income and you want to pay down a credit card. Sometimes people think, I'm going to pay down a credit card that has a higher interest. But the algorithm will actually tell you, based on the time, based on the debt, based on the interest, that $200 is best spent on the mortgage, or is best spent on the solar payment, or is best spent on the credit card, whatever the case is. So it gives them, kind of like we give people a solar savings report, this thing gives them a report of when they're going to get completely out of debt with their discretionary income. The point is that dealt with homeowners. So Lily calls me one day, Lily De Silva. She closed a lot of deals here. And I recruited her from that company here. So Lily tells me, hey, I got a booth at, I don't know if it was a home and garden show, but it was something like a bunch of roofers and people that dealt with the homeowner over there. So we got a booth there. Guess what? We got a bunch of leads. And we got sales because of having a booth there. And guess what? I remember there were solar people there. So the point is, there's a lot of ways that you can be creative to go out there and get the business. Okay, let's keep going. Another one is, now we're getting into the money ones, buying leads. You could buy aged leads. Aged leads are people that requested information like 3 months ago and back. 3 months ago to a year, 3 months ago to 2 years. They were at one point interested in solar. You could buy those leads and call those leads. You don't want a door knock, you could smile and dial. they're usually $1 to $2 a lead, but you got to buy like 500 of them, 1,000. So what if you say, hey, you know what? I do door knocking, but today I don't mind staying home from 3 to 7. And my goal in that 4-hour window is to make 50 phone calls, 100 phone calls, whatever that number is. And you see that'll bring some value. Yes. Now we're currently working with somebody on the team who's actually a mentor. He's programming an AI system where you enter this is optional, where you enter the leads into the system and the system texts your people for you. And for example, hey, Barry, this is JC with Power Energy. Are you still considering solar? Let's say he sends it to your 1,000 leads. 300 of them say, no, take me off your list. The system automatically takes them off your list. Right? The ones that the ones that didn't reply, it takes them back maybe a week later with a different message. The ones that do reply, it has, and you can see the whole thing. We're working on these things for people right now. But guess what? Obviously that costs some money. Right? So this particular one, I think it's 1,000 leads. So for $100 a dollar a lead, which is $1,000. That's what they're trying to work out right now. Okay. I'm just giving you guys options. Again, don't get confused. I had a conversation 2 weeks ago with some people on the team, and they were like, hey, my team feels like there's just a lot of avenues and stuff, and they're getting confused. I was like, well, nobody's telling everybody, nobody's telling you to do everything. If I was brand new in your seats today, you know what I would do right now? I would do the new homeowner list and those leads, and I'll recruit during the day. That's it. Maybe on the weekend, I will look for a farmer's market, pay some money to get into that farmer's market because I was going to be visiting homeowners that day anyways, so I might replace it. Hey, I don't mind replacing my Saturdays with being at a farmer's market and or a Sunday, whenever it is. Or sometimes, for example, Norwalk has a farmer's market during the week, I think on Wednesdays, right? So I would get on the phone and find out, boom, 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 talk to somebody, hey, man, you want to split the cost? Let's go half and half, and we'll work this deal together. But the key is this, you guys hear me say this, my most overused phrase. Your biggest resource is your resourcefulness. You've got to be resourceful. And you make some money with the business, guess what? Invest. Listen, you have to reinvest at least a percentage of your income back into your business. I recommend at least 10%. You want to be a baller and you really want to invest at least 20%. Because if you invest it wisely, it's going to bring back a lot more than what you invested. All right, let's keep going. So you've got age leads. The next one that you've got also, you can buy premium leads. This is for the people that want to invest some serious money. Premium leads. I know a company that I'm probably going to buy these leads from next month, not for me. I got 4 leads this morning. I don't need leads. Thank God I don't. But I'm going to buy them, and I'm going to tell you why I'm going to buy them. They're $200 an appointment, but it's per appointment. Now, I pay them whether I close a deal or not, but the appointment has to sit. They guarantee me for $5,000. They guarantee me 25 sits. I just need a qualified, and by the way, they ask for the credit. Do you have over a 650 FICO score? Yes. Now, they don't know that for sure. They're not running the credit. The client can lie. But what if the client says, oh, hell no, my credit is shot? That's not, that they're never going to book that appointment in my calendar. Does that make sense? They ask them their average electric bill, right? Over $100. Okay. Over 650 FICO score. Okay, you're interested. So it's a preset of 5 G's a month, 25 appointments. That equals $200 a lead, an appointment. But if I close one of the 25, I made the 5 G's back and then some. Does that make sense, guys? So there's a lot of ways to go about it. Here's how I'm going about it. I'm going to buy these leads. I'm going to take some that look the best. I'll probably run 5 of those leads, right? The ones that look the best, highest bill, boom, boom, boom. I'll probably, and they're not too far. Why not? What am I going to do with the other 20? I got leaders on my team, and I've got leaders that I'm recruiting. Let's say I recruit Pete, who's a solar pro from another company, which guess what? I can recruit him by doing some Craigslist and Instagram ads. That's me investing in my business. I take some of the money, and I'm not just like putting it away in savings. Hell no, with inflation right now, saving is stupid. Saving has always been stupid. Investing is smart. But the point is, let's say I got Pete that comes over as a solar pro from another company. And I say, hey, Pete, tell you what, you got to do one mentor sale, 50-50 split sale with a mentor. What I'll do for you is, once you close that one, I'll give you 2 appointments that you could run. I don't know if you're going to close them, but this is leads that I buy and pay for. See, he closed that one. I already made some money on that 50-50 split sale, but I'm also giving him an extra advantage. Now, he's also part of the fastest growing team, the number one mentor on the team. We've got a training academy. We've got all of the support, blah, 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 blah. There's a lot of benefits, but I'm going to use that to attract high caliber leadership into my business because I understand that my money, I should put overalls on my money, meaning put my money to go to work for me. When you are, let's say, from the basics, from getting your business cards, getting your shirt, flyers, or you step it up and you go to booths, get a booth, you're putting overalls on your business. Now you go from a solar sales guy or girl to a solar business owner. The mindset has to be a different mindset. You have wholesale split costs with the company, 70-30. You got the same 6 levels of pay as I do. You got the same nationwide as I do, and anybody else in the company. This call is about you treating your business like a business, and we're getting into some of the basics of how to generate some sales. Who wants to generate more sales? Great. There's a lot of people on the team closing deals. I want to see, for your sake, to help you, for you to have some discipline and put money away. Here's what I tell people all the time. Let's say, for example, somebody is new. Sometimes they get very excited. They tell me, JC, I just want to dedicate all my time to this business, man. I'm going to quit my job. And I say, I understand and I appreciate your excitement, your enthusiasm. But here's what happens with people that quit their job prematurely. They have commission bread. Now they don't have an income coming in. So when they're tell me again. Jessica. So they're pitching Jessica. Jessica says, I'm going to send you a bill. Now they're a little bit desperate. They got commission bread. Hey, Jessica, you haven't sent me the bill. Maybe they sent one text too much, one day too early. The prospect can detect when you have commission bread. Does that make sense? So I tell people, listen, you want to have your steady income, wait till this income at the very least matches your current income for a couple of months in a row, then move on full time. Very few people would I advise to do it full time from the beginning. Do it part time. Guess what? Most people that start in the real estate business, they start part time. They start part time. So I would recommend the same thing. The next one, which is my favorite, you recruit your way to your sales. Why? If I recruit Pete and Pete wants solar for his house, the bank's already announced a couple of months ago, Pete can't sell himself solar. But I'll make Pete an ambassador. Hey, Pete, you're a consultant. Let me make your wife an ambassador. We'll sell you solar. We'll get you $1,000 on your own sale. But I tag Isela. Let's say Isela, I tag V, because V's a mentor, right? I tag V. I'm a new consultant. Pete is a new consultant that I recruited, but he wants solar for his house. I got the lead. I tag V, and Pete is a consultant. So he's not going to earn the 50% split. But I get creative. I make his wife an ambassador so they earn $1,000. So out of 7,000, let's say it's 6,000. We give them a discount, right? It's not 6,000. 1,000 goes to them. So V and I split $2,500. He gets $1,000 and he got trained. Is that pretty cool? But the recruit is my sale. That you could literally recruit your way to mentor. Because you need 8 sales. If you're not a solar pro, you need 8 sales, 3 with a mentor, 5 on your own. You could literally recruit your way to mentor. Now, if I was new, is that the only way I would do it? No, not me. I would recruit during the day, and then I would sell prospect at night and on weekends. That's exactly what I did. I did new homeowner list, and I called homeowners and people to recruit throughout the day. And I worked on Saturdays and Sundays. That's what I did. I didn't work every Saturday and Sunday, but I did work Saturdays and Sundays. Because why? Because Saturdays and Sundays, more people are home. They tend to be a little bit less stressed. I could catch more people. My time invested on the field on a Saturday or Sunday. Now, I got some people that tell me, JC, I don't want to work on a Sunday, but they were just complaining to me about being broke. I'm like, but you're broke. Yeah, man, but Sunday is like, no, you don't understand. Here's one thing that successful people understand. It's a very simple concept. In order to have something I've never had, I need to do something I've never done. You probably never work weekends. You never gave up weekends. Guess what I would do? When I would work Saturday and Sunday, I would take Monday off. Spend time with my family Monday. Does that make sense? Still spending the time with them. But you have to be temporarily motivated and temporarily ambitious to be permanently lazy. You've got to be temporarily motivated and ambitious to be permanently lazy. Now, not everybody has the same goals. I want to clear something up. Some people have a goal. Hey, man, I just want to make an extra $5,000 to $10,000 per month, and that's happiness for me. God bless you. I support that. Making a ton of money or building a big team is not for everybody. The cool thing about Powur, we love you wherever you're at. Whatever your goals are, we love you, man. Hey, if that's what you want to accomplish, let us help you accomplish that. That's awesome. But there's some people that tell me, JC, I want to build a big team. I want to have a passive income. I want to earn stock options. I want to be successful, big time successful. But their actions and their mindset are speaking something else. It's like you're speaking a different language, man. I'm telling you what it takes. And it takes what it takes. Can we agree that we're going to have setbacks? You're going to have canceled deals. You might sign up 4 deals and 2 may cancel, which is a very bad ratio, but that can happen. Here's my question. If you sign up 10 deals and 7 of those 10 deals cancel and only 3 go, is that what it's going to take for you to quit? Because some of you guys are going to experience that crap. Is that what it's going to take for you to quit? What will it take for you to quit? Because then it gets to a point where you can have 10 deals canceled in a week and you won't even feel it. Matter of fact, you might even be relieved. Like, good, man. That's a lot of project management shit that we don't got to do. Shit, we're already overwhelmed. That's where we're at right now. If 10 deals fell this week, knock on wood, there's no wood here. Yep. Hopefully it doesn't happen, right? But honestly, if that happens, we've got another 50 deals that are still going through that we're going to keep working. We got 2 project managers that are not from the company, 2 project managers that we have on our team that help us manage these projects. We've got installs every single week. Matter of fact, today we were talking about Lewis. He's going to start doing the drone videos for me. We've got a lot of installs that need drone videos. We're going to start getting them. Guess what? We're going to step up the drone video stuff on social media, which guess what? Gets us more business. Makes us look more credible. Does that make sense? All right. So any questions up to this point? I've shared a lot of information. One of the things that I don't like that I haven't been paying attention to is I haven't been opening it up for questions as much as I would like. So I know that after sharing some of this information, you guys may have some questions. So anyways, any questions in this room or on Zoom?
Hey, JC, do you have templates for these flyers?
I do.
Thank you, sir.
Do me a favor, contact me directly and I'll send it to you. I have a template for the flyer that I made. I think there's better flyers now, but I'll send you the template for what I made and you can use that content and have your person design them better, right? But again, when I started, I asked, does anybody have a new homeowner list script? No. Shit. Okay. Does anybody have any flyers? They didn't have any doggone flyers. I said, okay, I guess I'm going to have to create the new homeowner script and I'm going to have to create my own flyers. And that's exactly what I did. I went on canva.com and with a free account and I created my flyer there. Then I emailed that flyer to a print guy. I said, I need you to print this out. How much is it? Here it is. Boom. And I created the script.
Sweet. Where's the best place to go for a new homeowners list?
I'm going to send you the video, bro.
Okay.
It'll explain.
Okay.
It depends where you're at, but I show you where to find it. What is the ideal target? I only visited new homeowners with pools because they have a bigger electric bill. That's my thing. Only new home right away. Like they just closed escrow last week. I'm not visiting that guy because they're probably not moved in yet. So you'll find that you waste a lot of time if they're under 3 months that they close escrow. So all of that is in the training. Okay, so I'm gonna send that over to you guys so we can make it happen. Any other questions?
Hey, JC.
Mm-hmm.
Couple tools for people. I door knock. About 80% of my business comes from door knocking. 2 things I would suggest is you have the option to use Redfin. Redfin is free. when you think about who's going to purchase solar, there are traditionally two different people. One is the person who's recently moved into his home. That happens a lot of times. But the other person is the person who hasn't had solar and has been in his home from 10 to 12 months. That person has received 10 to 11 bills. They're now at that point in time where they're not being bombarded by salespeople knocking at their door for solar, for alarms, for landscaping, for termite reports. So that person is now back in the market. And it's a little bit different competition. It's really less competition, but you can use your Redfin app and look at the area that you're in, look at when they sold from, and look at that 12 months to 10-month period. So you're gonna look backwards. That person is a great person to go for. And then the other thing I'll tell you is in regards to door knocking and just the thought process I have for myself. I'm not braggadocious. I joined your company recently. I came from a company called Sun Solar Solutions in Peoria, Arizona, and I worked with a guy by the name of Mike O'Donnell. And Mike said, when you leave that house, you are not coming back. So I'm not a guy that I have a flyer. My flyer is laminated. They can look at it, but I'm not giving them something instead of having me. And so, that's one thing that I was always taught is you are the knowledge, you are the information. They need to talk to you, and they don't need a flyer.
Yeah, and you listen. That is a train of thought that a lot of people in door knocking have. I'll share what works with me and my philosophy between having a flyer and not having a flyer. If I go visit new homeowners and I visit 35 homeowners today, and they're not home, half of them are not home, I'm leaving a flyer behind. Because now even if it gives me an extra 1% chance, it's a 1% chance versus a 0 chance because I didn't talk to him and I never talked to him. And guess what? I tell this story all the time. One of my favorite stories. I left a flyer in June 2020. I closed the deal. He called me back in December. I sold him a $27,000 roof and a 13 or 14 kilowatt system because of the flyer that I left, and I would have never got that sale. And it doesn't cost me anything to leave the flyer right there. And I've also got people, because my flyer says, let's say I got a homeowner. This is a true story. It says, oh, thank you, we're not interested. And they just flat out are not interested. If I leave, the chance of them calling me back are slim to none. But if I say, no problem, I'm going to leave you my flyer here. If you know of anybody, I know you're not interested, but if you know of anybody that may be interested in going solar, as a flyer says here in the bottom, we have a $1,000 referral for anybody that you would refer us that goes solar. That lady referred me a client. Had I not had a flyer, they would have said, nope, I wouldn't have got no business. But that $1,000, not only that, sometimes people close you off at the door, but then when they read the bullet points of the benefits of solar, they start to think about it. Maybe they'll look at some information online or whatever the case may be. So I respect everybody's train of thought. I'm sharing what worked for me. I closed deals with flyers that I would not have closed. I honestly think that if I didn't have a flyers, I would not hit mentor in 11 weeks. It would have took me probably 13 weeks, probably 14, 15 weeks to hit mentor if it wasn't for the flyers. And so, but again, everybody has their own train of thought. But to me, I see it could only help. If I increase my chances by 1%, shit. Think about it. I'm going to talk to a lot of people. 1% is one person extra out of every 100. I plan to talk to hundreds of people. And that adds up over the course of time, over the course of a year. So, but anyways, anybody else have any questions?
JC?
Yeah.
This is Frankie J. How are you? Hey, man.
Hey, what's up, Frankie?
Could you explain when you said the drone, what was that? Drone video. What do you mean?
Oh, yeah. That's just when somebody, we have a drone that takes pictures and videos of when the install happens. So that's after the install happens, right? So right now we want to focus on getting the sales, right? Then the drone is stuff that we do after you get the sale.
Oh, okay. Thanks. And what did you say about you're going to send something to us? Oh, what the heck was it? When you start talking, when somebody else talking, I lost my train of thought. Something that you were going to send to that guy, you said, Yes.
I was gonna send them the video of the new homeowner list.
Oh, can I get one of those too?
Yep, I'll send it to you.
Okay, thanks.
JC, quick question. Hey,
Yeah, go ahead,
is,
man.
is Lewis gonna be available to record with the drone for like installs within the team and people pay him for it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Because I can't
He
even
will.
record anymore.
I know. As long as it doesn't cut into mine. All right. Just kidding. Actually, I'm not kidding, but yes, he will be available for that as well. So yeah, matter of fact, this week we're gonna work on that, and he's gonna work on some of my personal installs, and we have a ton. So yeah, to answer your question, yes.
So somebody had a great idea. Reggie asking, do you have a flyer for neighbors recent install? Like, is there?
That is a good. That's a great idea, Reggie. That's why. See, this is called the mastermind, and in the book Think and Grow Rich, it talks about the mastermind. How a couple of minds come together and they create an additional, more powerful mind. Like if two people come together, creates a third, more powerful mind. So I think that is a good idea to have a flyer for recently installed people. Here's another tip that I would give you guys, which by the way, I just use my regular flyer. It's a pretty good flyer that fits even recently installed people. So for example, here's another creative way to get some leads. A lot of us, probably most of us, get an install. We don't go knock the neighbors. You can work with the leaders in the area, right? And say, hey man, do you have any recent installs that I could go and with your permission and talk to their neighbors? So let's say I got a couple of installs here in Downey, and Lewis says to me, JC, do you mind if I go talk to the neighbors and mention that their neighbor so and so just went solar? This is called Clover Leafing. So what you do is you show up and you talk to the neighbors. You have, let's say Jessica's the client, and I talk to the neighbors. I talk to Lewis. Hey, I just want to introduce myself, give you a flyer. I'm actually the guy, or my company is actually the company that put panels on your neighbor, Jessica. We just want to come and introduce ourselves to the neighbor. Here you go. Now they're like, oh, okay, cool. They might ask questions, but if they don't ask questions, it's a soft approach. Now, guess what I could do? By the way, have you guys ever considered solar? Have you guys ever considered receiving a free solar savings report? Simple conversation. It's a soft approach. They might even know her. I say she's got a red car. Yeah, Jessica with the red car outside. Does that make sense? Because they may not know her, but they may recognize a car. Then all of a sudden you have a lot more credibility, and it doesn't have to be you. Like I got so many installs. I thought, man, after every install, I'm gonna go. Then I started getting so many sales and trainings and mentorship. Frankly, I said, well, I don't do that as much as I would like, and I actually enjoy it. I took, matter of fact, when I was new, I took my son one day with me. We had an install and we did a drone video, and I took my son with me. I had him with me, and I said, you know what? Now that I'm here, I already recorded the drone video. I got my flyers in the back. I knocked the whole spot, the whole block, and I took my son with me. And guess what? People that weren't there, I dropped off a flyer, right? What if somebody's not there, but they were just talking about solar, right? And then a flyer shows up. There's so many stories like that, right? So anyways, that's what I did. So that's called Clover Leafing. And Clover Leafing is really knocking the immediate neighbors and the people in front. What I do is I don't knock the whole block, because you got the credibility with the whole block. So even if you don't have installs, you could partner with people that do have installs, and you could go out there and door knock those people and get creative. Matter of fact, that's one of the things that my brother Lewis, when he does those drone videos, guess what he's gonna do? We're gonna put a sign on the front of the house that says, I run my house on the sun. We have signs. Isela has those signs as well. A bunch of us have those signs. We ask a neighbor, we ask a homeowner, of course, is it okay if we put a sign on your yard, right? Any referrals that come from this Mr. Customer will give you $1,000 as a referral. Very often, your neighbors see that, they saw the panels, and they want to go solar. 9 out of 10 times, the neighbors say, yeah, we'll leave it out for 1 or 2 weeks. Yeah, sounds good. I had one client says, leave it on as long as you want, right? So we put them on there, right? Then we knock the neighbors. You can even address a sign, right? By the way, if you ever need me, the sign's going to be on the yard, Jessica's yard, for a couple of weeks, but you got my flyer here, and whatever. But anyways, I do that with the regular flyers that I have. It works great for that, Rich. Any other questions before we close this up? Okay, so here's one thing I'm gonna. Yes, go ahead, Nisa.
Okay, since I can't really go door to door knocking or doing that because I'm in Puerto Rico, I wanted to get some Craigslist or something where I can promote the business, because I've done, I mean, door knocking is a lot of fun. I've done it in Oregon and all the other places. I sold encyclopedia. That was my first job ever. And I just can't do it because Powur's not here right now. So what do you suggest? How can I go about it? Because I am so excited and I feel like I can't move yet, you know.
All right, good. We'll talk about that later. Isela did tell me about us having a conversation with you about this, so we'll talk about it later, yes. But
Fantastic.
as we mentioned, there's some other alternatives for somebody like you, right? You can't go. I know that if you were here, you would go,
Yes.
but you can't. But luckily, there's some other alternatives, so we'll talk about those alternatives.
Okay, thank
And
you.
one other thing, guys, before I forget, tomorrow, who do you know in LA tomorrow here at this very office in the Remax Training Center, which is also our training center, we have a business overview presentation at 7 p.m. If you are a team member of Powur and you're local, guest or no guest, come to the event, man. Come hang out with us. Come learn the business. Come mingle. Not only that, come and support. One of the things I say about events all the time is this. If you don't have a guest, the event needs you. If you have a guest, you need the event. The reason why is because, and I say this all the time, if you don't have a guest, but Lewis has a guest, you're supporting Lewis and his guests. The guests don't know who are prospects and who are consultants. They just see activity, people. That is selfless. In a leadership business, being selfless takes you a long way. In a leadership business, because next time you may have a guest, and what if everybody has the same philosophy of, I'm not going to show up if I don't have a guest? We don't do these every week. We do this like every 3-4 weeks. Well, so whenever we do one of these, guys, come out and support, because here's what happens. Next time you have a guest and other people come and support, even if their guest didn't show up or they don't have a guest, the meeting still looks good. Now, we never have a problem about not having guests. We're always pretty darn good at having guests here. But I recommend tomorrow, 7 o'clock, get here a little bit earlier, see a presentation. We might even do a special training for the people that show up tomorrow. I might just do a leadership, strictly personal development. Matter of fact, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a 30-minute leadership personal development training right after the event tomorrow. Okay, strictly personal development, nothing to do with solar. If you want to stick around, you can stick around. But come out, because here's a philosophy, it's building strong people. Come out, bring some guests. Who do you know? If you're not local, who do you know in this area? Invite them to come out, right? And I'll see you guys here tomorrow. Any last questions before we close this off?
JC?
Yeah.
Will we be able, are you going to be able to video this so we can be on it as well?
It's not going to be video because when we do Zoom, it's a lot of work to do it via Zoom. So remember, today at 5 o'clock, though, there's an opportunity webinar. Every Monday at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, there's an opportunity webinar at powurhour.com. You have any guests there? Plug them into that. That's a corporate presentation. Tomorrow is not a corporate presentation. It's a presentation done by us in person at this very office. So if you have any guests that you want to get on a Zoom presentation today at 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 p.m. on these. I get on them. When I don't have meetings, I get on them. I love getting on them. I love seeing my Powur family, right? All right, guys, I appreciate everybody. Have a good week.